Welcome everybody to Suitcase Divas, episode 22. I am Denise Diabaldi with Redbirds Travel.
And I'm Cheryl Garcia with ABCD Adventures.
Yeah, so today on episode 22, we are revisiting Am I the Asshole Travel Edition. So we have a couple scenarios. Do you want to go first, Cheryl, or would you like me to go first?
Either way, I think what we did was we each picked up stories so that we could read to the other and get the reaction. So I don't know what she has and she doesn't know what I have. Wouldn't it be funny if we did pick the same one though? Because we think alike.
It's plausible.
Yeah.
I could see that happening. All right, I'll read to you first, okay?
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. So, am I the asshole for refusing to go to a theme park because Mill, which we all know is mother-in-law,
Mm-hmm.
didn't buy me a pass? Okay. So, I'm 28, female, married to an amazing, loving husband who's 32. Like many others, my Mill has found reasons to hate me. It started 2 years ago when I chose to breastfeed at her husband's birthday party. She blocked me on Facebook and has been distant intense since then.
Mm.
This past Christmas, my husband let me know that his mom was going to be buying season passes for Wild Adventures for him and my two children, but not for me. This is the third year she has not gotten anything for me for the holidays. Truly, this does not bother me. I can't and I don't want to force her to like me. Fast forward to today. My husband wants to go to said theme park this weekend, and I refuse to go. This frustration is towards my husband as it was not spur of the moment. Um, and this was a surprise gift. She let him know months ago that she was purchasing yearly passes and was not getting one for me. That I could pay for a ticket and go on the days to bring a guest for free. That's what she offered to her.
Mm.
He says I'm letting her win by being petty and not going. He's begging me to reconsider, saying that I should be grateful that she did anything for the family. I would also like to add that money is not a problem in their household or ours. This is 100% a petty thing and not about money. So am I the asshole for refusing to go?
Okay, so that's interesting. No, she is not the asshole. I think of it two ways. The mother-in-law is the asshole and the husband is the asshole.
And that's what
So,
she's saying. She's frustrated at her husband that he like just picked the weekend to go and
well,
said,
here's my
you should
thought.
go.
Knowing that his mom has been kind of an asshole to his wife, first he should have stepped up. But I know that's not everybody's thing. They can't really, some people are peacekeepers and just like to be the mediator. Everybody plays their role.
Yeah.
But since money's not an issue, he should have bought her pass and not even let that be known that
He
that
should
was
have bought
accepted.
her a season pass,
Correct.
right? Or
Yes.
something, just
So
to,
here's because he didn't. Yeah, he absolutely should have because he didn't. And the way I would throw it back at his mom and him, be like, no, this is my day. You are now taking the kids on your own because this is her free time. They didn't plan for her because you know what's going to happen. And I shouldn't assume, but I will. The mom usually ends up, or the predominant parent, it's not always the mom in every family, usually ends up doing all the work. It's not a trip. It's lugging the shit. It's, corralling the kids, being the ones going
yeah.
on the ride, dealing with the fights.
Hmm.
Mom gets to have a free day. Tell dad take the kids. He didn't
Well,
prep for
no,
this.
how fucking bitchy is the mother-in-law for being upset with her for breastfeeding her child? And that's what spurred her to block her on Facebook? Like, she's feeding her child. You know what
Her
I mean? Like,
grandchild at that. Yeah.
yeah, that is a little bit baffling, correct?
Oh yeah.
This is
Which I
weird.
mean, it was probably one of those things where she was looking for a reason. The mother-in-law was looking for a reason to do this or to have this
Yet another reason,
reaction.
it
Yeah.
sounds like.
So
Yeah.
no, if I was that mom, I would say, no, husband, you didn't prep for this. Not only did you cause me to feel embarrassed, because I'm sure she did, when everybody got this season pass gift, and I'm obviously standing there empty-handed, that you didn't prepare to cover that, knowing it's not a financial issue. He should have had that and said,
Right.
all right, mom, if you're going to do this, I'm going to buy hers. Because as a family, that just makes no, and it's also the weekends you go for that free pass thing, it should be the other way. The grandparents should go for free because that's how my family has done it before. But they're blackout dates. So
Mm.
realistically, if you're only going to take the mom on the days that a friend where they get the free pass day,
Right.
you're
Hmm.
limiting and you've already lost value in your season pass. So the dad kind of shit the bed here, and he's the biggest asshole because that's supposed to be her partner. So that's my take on that one.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Yes, 100% agree.
All right. So are you ready for this one's kind of interesting. I don't know if it's as controversial as what you said, but we'll go. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. I've been with my boyfriend, I'll call him Paul, for 3 years and living together for 6 months. Paul has a serious problem with forgetting important documents, and after the fourth time he did this, I became responsible for carrying our documents in my purse. According to him, all documents have a digital version, and that's enough. Not all are digital, like, say, a passport, and not all places accept the digital form, but he's stubborn and maintains this position. I don't mind being responsible for the documents, and most of the time I have them in my purse. That is until one day, 2 months ago, when he called me asking about his identity because he needed it for something and they didn't accept the digital version. I was at work and informed him that I had it with me. He gave me a huge scolding saying that these documents should be at home and told me to stop holding his documents. I handed his documents over to him and said that I would no longer be responsible for this or warn him about it because I was doing a favor for someone I love who is a capable adult. He's 27. Which brings us to the situation at hand. We decided to travel with our friends to another country on New Year's, and a passport is needed. Since it's on another continent, we went to our country's capital where we'd stay at our friend's house until our flight time. Since the city we live in is 2 hours from the airport. We decided to go to the airport 4 hours before our flight to visit the VIP room. They bougie. And I went to check all my documents first. Paul was next to me, and when he saw only one passport, he asked me about his, and I just said, "You have it." He panicked, saying he thought I had taken his passport as usual and left it at home. He decided to run home and come back. He asked me to go with him, but I didn't want to spend 4 hours in the car. He went to get his passport, but complained that this was something to remember him by. Oh, but complained that this was something to remember him by. I don't understand that. And I went with my friends to the airport. In short, he didn't arrive on time, and I decided I wouldn't miss my trip because of him. I turned off my
Ooh.
cell phone and made the 12-hour trip. When I arrived, there were several messages from him saying he couldn't believe that I had gone on a trip without him and that I had done it as a form of revenge because of his scolding. The flights are all booked up or too expensive, so he probably won't come. He's still accusing me of leaving him behind after purposely not remembering something I know he struggles with. My friends are on my side, but I feel doubtful. OP also mentioned this minor but major detail at the end of the story. I always make a list of what to take for our trips. His passport was on the list and he still forgot it. Am I the asshole?
No, absolutely not.
Right?
He's a fucking grown adult, first things first.
Yes.
And that is not her responsibility. She was doing it out of the kindness of her heart, holding it because he's very forgetful. Clearly, he struggles in this area of his life. So, you know what? If I was in the same situation, I would have done exactly the same thing. I would have said, you know what? I was doing you a favor. You were a jerk about it. So then I
Right.
said, I'm not doing it anymore. So then I tell you that we're going on this trip and you drop the ball and I shouldn't have to drive 4 hours in a car. And she would have missed her trip too
Right.
with her friends. So I absolutely say, have a good time, honey. See you when you
Yeah.
get back.
I 100% agree. Even if you continuously do something for someone, this is where that whole this is the issue I have. If someone does something for you, it's still something you should be considerate of and appreciative of. And always be like,
Agreed.
"Hey," especially something like this, because what if she had forgotten? Why is it all her responsibility to have all
Right.
the important stuff? Even if she gathers it and carries it, it's still his responsibility as well to say, "Hey, do we have X, Y, and Z? Go over this list with me. Do you need me to get anything?" Like he she's taking care of him and he's not taking care of anything. And then bitching
Sounds like
when,
Paul needs to grow up a little bit.
right. I agree.
He needs to put his big boy pants on and take care of business.
So I agree with you. OP is not the asshole.
Right. All right. Well, see, we're 2 for 2 in agreement. We are usually always in agreement and usually,
Right.
finish each other's sentences. I love you, Cheryl.
I love you, Denise.
Okay.
All right. Oh, you go ahead.
So are you ready for the next one?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Now this one is interesting. Um, okay. Am I the asshole for not telling my girlfriend not to go on a trip with her male friends?
Okay,
So
hold
he
on.
prefaces
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
so he prefaces this with English is not my first language, so I apologize if I do not explain properly. And you'll see this a little bit, but I think you'll get the gist of it. Okay, so my 26-year-old, he's 26. Um, she's 25. My girlfriend had her birthday 2 weeks ago. Every year, her friends take her on a trip. Her friend group is mostly males. They are all very nice, and I do not believe they want her. We have been dating and we've been in a long distance relationship for 2 years, and due to some current events and certain things happening, recently I got the opportunity to move to the US to be with her. So this year for her birthday, she asked me if it was okay for her to go with her friends. I said, yeah, have fun. I'm still new to this place. I told her I'd spend the weekend doing some touristy things that she wasn't interested in doing. She asked me if it was okay, and I always reply yes. Why wouldn't it be? I'd be fine with my I'd be fine on my own for one night. I did not want to go on the trip because while I enjoy her friend's company, I'm not very social man, and she did not see her friends for a long time because we've been busy since the move. Well, she asked me yesterday before she left if it was okay. I said yes. And then she goes and everything's fine. We don't text much, but I felt like that was normal for her being on a trip. Later that night, she sends me drunk texts. It always comes down to the drinking, right?
Yeah, this is where your friend comes in. Don't text while you're
Okay.
drinking. Yes.
Okay. So I get drunk texts saying that she wanted me to fight for her and not be ready to just send her off with another man. I
Oh.
asked her what? Because she does this every year. She told me that it should be different now that we live together and we've talked about getting married. We argued a little bit more, and I eventually stopped responding because I don't understand what's going on. We have not spoken since, and she comes back today. I don't know if I misread something due to the language barrier, or if I did, something's out of, he said, or if I did something out of the United States culture because of this, or if this is unreasonable. Am I the asshole?
Okay, so this is really good because I thought it was going to go one way and it
I
went the
know.
other way.
I thought so too.
He's
Exactly.
he's absolutely not the asshole, which is so weird. I really thought he was going to be the asshole in this story. The girlfriend is the asshole. It sounds like she's playing games. So originally I thought you were going to say he was all upset that she was on a trip and there was males there. Um
Or
but
I thought it was going to be that she got tipsy and accidentally hooked up with one of her besties because that happens a lot.
well, and that's why I was going to say when he mentions the US culture, I do think because I hate to say it, us US folks like drama. I do think for the most part,
It's true.
most people would not be okay, and this is not okay with the
Would
opposite. With
Daniel be okay with you going on a trip with guys,
it,
mostly guys, but maybe a
well,
girl?
here was going to be my question: if the guys came before the boyfriend, then that's not a point because that got the friends were there first. I will
Right.
say, like right now, after being with my husband for almost 30 years, if I suddenly started going on trip with guys, absolutely he'd be upset. And I think that would be disrespectful. This is not a long-term friendship that had been cultivated and platonic for years. This is something that sporadically came up or grew. That's where trouble starts. I absolutely would respect that that would not be okay. However, if
Yeah.
we were younger or like in this situation, those friends were there before the boyfriend, those friendships were there, they've done this, this is something they've continuously done, then yeah, I think in that situation, I I would make sure my partner was okay with it, but also
Yeah.
explaining
But
I'm not
she
asking
asked like multiple
permission.
times and he said,
But
yeah, I'm
here's where
okay with
I
it.
think the problem comes in, and here's where I think the US culture, and I'm probably gonna get slammed for this. She's playing games. She is
Hmm.
100% playing games.
Like,
She
I want you to fight for me, but I want to be able to go on the vacation too,
Oh yeah,
right?
she was expecting what I was expecting him to say, him to finally be there and be like, no. So he's showing green flags, she's showing red flags because she's wanting that bad boy who's trying to be controlling. So that this is the drama in me. This is the TikTok drama in me saying this is what would happen if these were two US people, too young. And I would say, and this is only because I love TikTok drama and I love drama TV in general, that this is what would
Hmm.
happen if I was to play this out on Grey's Anatomy or something. Like this is how the couples would be interacting and it would be sloppy and okay, maybe not Grey's Anatomy, more like One Tree Hill or something. And I reference old movie shows because I don't watch anything new, but I think
Okay. Well, I
did
haven't
they
watched
say
either one of
her
those.
age? Did it say her age in there?
Yes, it did. It said, I think 23 and 25 and 26. She's 25, he's 26.
First of all, she's still too old to be playing these games, but it sounds like she expected him.
And if they're talking about marriage, uh, she's she's way
I
too old
do
to be
think part of
acting like
that is a
that.
cultural difference. I think he
Hmm. Yeah.
knows that because
But
I
he's definitely not the asshole. No way.
no, he's not. Absolutely not. I think he's like, "Hey, this is your thing. These are your friends." And honestly, it didn't sound like the fact that they were opposite sex played it because you're supposed to trust your partner no matter who they're with,
Right. And that shows a level of trust that is pretty amazing.
right?
Like I wonder if I was in that situation. I think Nick would obviously let me go with my friends if I said I was going with my friends. I don't think he would be. I think she's for sure the asshole.
Oh yeah, I know where I'm at now being in this knowing my circle does not have a huge male number. If I were just to say, "Hey, I'm going on this trip with, 75% men," yeah, my husband would not like that. And I would understand that because that's not something
Yeah.
I've done. Like
And
this
especially if it's
story,
new male friends. You know
correct.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Like if it's my Tony,
right.
of
That
course
is
we could
very,
go.
and but that's a what, 20-year friendship?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's very different than so I can't say nor would I ever put my husband in that position to I wouldn't have even thought, but I we've been together for almost 30 years, so that's very different. I would not do that now.
Yeah,
Now,
I think for sure he's not the asshole and she's the asshole.
oh, absolutely. All right, since we're along those lines, all right, I had one.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm gonna skip to my spicy one, and then I'll go back to we
Ooh,
can go back to the other one because
please do.
this
D loves
one,
spicy.
yeah. So my 24 female, she's 24 female, boyfriend who's 31, and I are
Okay.
going on a ski trip in 2 weeks with a group of friends. A friend rented an Airbnb and we all chipped in. Originally, it was supposed to be my boyfriend, me, and five other friends. I just recently found out a sixth friend is coming. That friend being my ex, 26 female.
Mm.
Okay.
Wait, wait.
Yes,
The X
exactly.
is the female?
The ex
Okay,
is the
I got
female.
you. I
So
got you.
the OP is a 24 female, the boyfriend is a 31 male, and the ex is a 26 female. For context, my boyfriend and I have been together 3 years. I dated my ex for nearly 3 years before my boyfriend, with a few months being in between. My ex and I had a great relationship, but had several reasons to break up. While we loved each other, it was toxic at times. She's still part of our friend group, though, so I do see her from time to time since our breakup. About a year into my relationship with my boyfriend, we all drunkenly had a threesome.
Whoa.
We
Okay.
we did a few more times also before deciding it wasn't a good idea. I
Okay.
realized that I still had feelings and it wasn't healthy for me because I started getting conflicted, but didn't want to ruin my relationship with my boyfriend. I explained this to both of them and we decided it was best to stop. I still see
Okay.
her time to time, but generally have kept my distance. When I found out she was coming, I told my boyfriend I was unsure if I still want to go. He asked me why, and I explained it makes me uncomfortable to be in close quarters with her. He initially joked that we may be able to have fun together. Wink, wink. But
Yeah, I know what you're fucking saying, buddy.
right. But
See where you're
when
going.
but when he realized I was upset, he changed his tune. He ended up getting mad at me saying I'm overreacting and need to get over it. We had an argument and I eventually gave in and told him whatever, I'll go and try to have a good time. But he's still mad at me. He thinks I'm being dramatic and I think that he just doesn't care about my feelings. But maybe I'm unintentionally being the asshole. Am I the asshole for not wanting to be in close quarters with my ex?
Listen, this is pretty complicated.
Right. This is a good one.
But, but here's my initial reaction. I don't think she's being the asshole. I honestly think she legit was in a situation where they, I mean, you have to be pretty close to be doing menage, and she was honest with both of them,
Mm-hmm.
and I think she genuinely is concerned that it might start something again. You know who is the asshole? Her boyfriend, because
Right?
he just wants to fuck both those girls again, and he's not putting her feelings, you know, he's not respecting, she's entitled to her feelings and he's not respecting her feelings. And it sounds like he's just being greedy and wants to fuck them again because
Right.
he's not the one that had a problem with it. Remember, she's the one
Right.
that decided, I can't continue to do this. So I think he's trying to itch a scratch that he has, and he's not putting her feelings
Scratch an
into
itch.
consideration.
Oh, I knew what you
Had
meant.
just one of these.
Yeah, I knew exactly what you meant. And I do agree with you. I think that in this instant, he's an asshole trying to get the best of both worlds. She's clearly
Agreed.
set boundaries. And
Yes.
this is making her uncomfortable. Now, there is an update, but before I read it, because I have not read this
Oh,
update
settle down, Denise.
yet, my thought would be she told him, I can't continue this threesome, which I totally support thruples. I follow them on TikTok. I think they're amazing relationships. She said, "Hey,
If that's what you want.
I don't want this is not what she's saying. I don't want this. I feel like she's saying
Right.
this, I don't want this, but I'm giving you fair warning. I'm having feelings. That's for her. That's what's causing the problem. He's taking a risk of her choosing the ex over him. Like,
Yeah, because that's
so
why they stopped in the first place,
right. So let me
is
read
because
the
she was,
update.
you know, okay.
So the update is I decided to take a break from my boyfriend. After reading a lot of the comments, I realized that he wasn't taking my feelings into account. And more
Right.
importantly, I wasn't allowing myself to properly express my feelings. I have some things to work on. Thank you for all your responses. So that's awesome. She put herself first, as she
What
should.
I'm curious to know is she is she seeing her friend at all, or is she put a pin in that and, you know,
My assumption would be is she because it doesn't say it here, and I didn't read
it
all
sounds
of the
like she took a
comments.
step back,
Mhm.
and that's where she's at.
Well,
Now
and
she's taken a step back from both of them, which I honestly, kudos for you, girlfriend, because
right.
I don't think he was being genuine. I
No.
think he was being selfish.
Well, and she recognized with her ex that it was that there were toxic elements of it and it's not something she wanted. So I OP is totally learning herself, setting her boundaries and standing for that. And I am all for that, girl. You are
Cheryl,
doing
when you
awesome.
say OP,
Oh, that's the original poster. I forget
okay.
you don't go down those rabbit holes like I do in Reddit.
Yeah, I'm just
Sorry.
trying to play along like I fucking know. And I called that one guy Paul, and then you're like, yeah, OP needs to. And I'm like, what? Who's OP?
Oh, I see what you're saying. OP. I guess I should have
Paul.
clarified OP when I reference OP. And you may see this when you're reading these Reddit or when you're reading these Am I the Assholes, especially in updates or comments. OP
Okay.
means original poster.
All right.
And
I
so,
got you.
yeah.
I
But
got
that
you.
was a good one. Do you have another one? I do have.
Um, I do not have another one.
Okay,
Do you
so let
have
me
another one?
find, I do. Let me see the one because I thought this was interesting. Here it is. Because I've actually had something, well, anyway. All right, here we go. My husband and I have different idea of vacation. He likes to go camping. We take the camper to go to different lake destinations every other weekend, and he calls this a vacation. But it's not a vacation for me. I still have to pack the camper, grocery shop, stock up, and prepare to go on this vacation, she says in quotations. I
Yeah,
cook
I feel that.
right. Right off the bat, I connected with this
I can
person.
relate, girlfriend. I can relate.
Yeah. On this vacation, I cook every meal, clean up every meal, do laundry, clean the camper, prep the cooler up for the boat, and basically work the entire time. It
Yeah.
is like being at home, except we're on a lake and we get to go on the boat, swim and have water time, which I love, she says. He says I'm ungrateful because he has this 100K camper to travel in and enjoy our time off. He sleeps in and is pretty lazy when we go, except when we are on the boat. He loads, unloads, and drives. I don't sleep well, and I find it no different than being at home. He doesn't like hiking or sightseeing because it's too hot. He stays in the camper and watches TV, just like we were at home. When it's cooler out, he makes a campfire and we sit around the fire drinking and basically playing on our phones. Then when we get home, I unpack the camper, clean the boat, bring everything inside the house, clean out the cooler, clean the house, get ready for the week of work I have coming up. I work 50 hours a week. He runs his own business and has the luxury of not working when he doesn't want to. I'm a tax accountant and I'm pretty busy. I also do all his bookkeeping, contracts, and scheduling. My idea of vacation is going someplace new, hotel, room service, no cooking, cleaning, no sitting around watching Netflix and the same old shows on repeat. I
Yeah.
want to relax. I want a break from all the chores. I want to sit by a pool, have drinks, or go on a cruise, have people
Yes.
wait on me. He doesn't like these ideas because he has to do all the driving except the cruise and find things to do. I'm not looking to bash my husband and I'm not going to leave him. I'm looking for unbiased opinions if I'm the asshole or if I have a right to be annoyed with his idea of vacation. So, am I the asshole?
Absolutely not.
Right?
Absolutely not. I mean, I, you know, I I totally feel for this chick because it's the same, especially if you're going with kids. Like,
I was,
yeah, we used to have a pop-up camper. When you were reading that, I'm like, girlfriend, honey, I feel you because we're the ones packing, we're the ones taking, cooking, cleaning, taking care of the children. Um, and then that is definitely not, that's not my idea of a vacation. Um,
no.
so I totally understand why she would want to be on a cruise and not have to cook and not have to clean. Like I definitely can relate. Uh, and it sounds like they've been married for a hot minute, right?
I
Because
was thinking
it
that too.
it's
Yeah.
because, the guy likes to do what he wants to
They
do. He
got
wants to
comfortable
veg
in their
out.
roles, and that's a problem
Right.
when you get comfortable in your
Yes.
assumed roles.
And so, you know what I would do if I were her in this situation? You absolutely are not the asshole girlfriend. But what I would do is probably say to her, you know what, we do this all the time. We do the camping. We've been doing that. I think we should, in order to, maybe do date night on the cruise or make it something that's enjoyable or repairs or makes the relationship a little more exciting, you know?
I agree that she's not the asshole, and my suggestion, and this is funny because I think one, I do this, and I this is where I think we differ. My first reaction was she needs to go on vacation by herself and with her friends or with
Or
her
with her
friends.
girlfriends.
Yeah,
Yeah, leave
because
him. Be like, you know what? Have a camping weekend, and this mama is gonna go on a cruise with her girlfriends.
and I think for and I kind of relate to this because my husband does not like to really do a lot of public out, like he'd rather be, he's a homebody. So I get that. And he always did it with the kids. We did our traveling with the kids and he does once a year he plans my whole birthday week and we go somewhere cuz he knows that I enjoy to travel. But I don't push my type of vacation on him. I I go travel. I go with my girlfriends. I go away for the weekend. I don't
Yeah,
we don't have to do that together. So I
right.
would recommend she go do her vacation on her own. I would also recommend that she stop going camping with him all the time. Like, do this
Yeah.
because that's something he enjoys, and she doesn't
Hmm.
hate it. She just hates that, from my understanding, that that's the only thing they do together. So I
Well, and
think
he calls it a
occasionally,
vacation. And
right, it is for him. So I think she
right.
should maybe go once a year with him, but every other
Yeah.
time he wants to go, it should be 100% on him getting, don't help him prep. Whatever
Yeah.
you usually do for it, this is his thing because he's obviously not going to help you prep for a trip that you plan. So here, I it sounds like you said, they've been together for a while.
Yeah.
They're set their roles, whether it had
Hmm.
been something agreed upon or it just happened over time, which is something happens all the time in relationships. And she's
Yes.
now
As
at the
both
point,
having been married over 20 years, we can
right.
attest
And then your roles
that,
changed, your
yeah,
place in life. So I think she's at a point where she's like, okay, this worked for us, but we have to reevaluate. And he seems to be stuck. Let him be stuck. It's okay as long as he lets her go and do her thing, whether
right.
he
Because
is
you know what? I agree exactly what you're saying. Because, you know, my husband's not a wild card like me. He's content to watch football and take a nap. And I'm just like, I feel like you're 100. I want to go do something. I want to go be wild and free. And he's like, okay, so at least
right,
we have that understanding that I'm allowed to go be the free spirit while he just chillaxes on the couch.
right, and he's supportive of it. I think you don't always have to do things together in a relationship for it to be a healthy
Right.
relationship. You should be individuals, but you should be supporting each other,
Agreed.
and over long-term relationships, that fades, that falls behind. So it just takes something like this, a fed up point. We all have our breaking point.
We should write back to this girl and tell her to do a girlfriend's cruise.
Right? Or a
She
solo
just,
cruise. Solo traveling is huge. I want
I've not done that yet. You have? You've
No, I
traveled
want to. I
solo?
was getting ready to say I want to.
Oh,
I have been following and looking and reading these solo Reddit. I love Reddit as much as I love TikTok. And there's a whole solo travel thread in Reddit that I read, and all these adventures and the friends they meet. That's definitely on my bucket list, is to do a solo trip. Now, whether we plan this trip and I do
hmm.
like 2 nights and then you meet me there on the third, I still will count that as a solo trip.
I think I'm not that brave. I don't think I'm that brave. Um, I'm always afraid somebody's gonna abduct me and I'll never be heard from again. I'm just not that brave. I'm not a solo traveler.
And
I
that's
need my
okay. It's
I need
not
my
for
posse with
everybody.
me.
Yeah.
I need the support and love of my friends.
Everybody has their comfort level, and I think that don't step out. They always say step out of your comfort zone, and I always imagine that like circle where you've got your different colors, your greens here, your yellow, your reds. When you step out of that green comfort zone, you're now into yellow. You step further, you're into red. That's how I envision it when I talk about, when people say you should step out your comfort zone. Every time you do that, there is a risk to no, even if it's just emotional,
Right.
mental, whatever.
Exactly.
You don't
Right.
have to do that to have a fulfilling life. But if you're adventurous, then yeah, but you need to be cautious and do your research. So, but what a
Right.
good group. Now, this was great, but none of our OPs, original posters, were the
Okay, I know you.
asshole. So,
Right. Yeah. What a lovely bunch.
right, we'll have to see if we can find some where
No, no, no. You know what? None of the OPs were the original,
correct.
none of them were, and it's the people in their lives. So there were
Yes.
some assholes here,
Oh,
clearly.
for sure. There's always going to be an asshole, I think, in Am I the Asshole post. You just have to
Yeah.
figure out which side. Is it the OP or is it the person they're talking about?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
but that was fun.
Yeah,
Totally
I enjoyed it.
interesting.
Uh, yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, guys.
Everybody have a great day.